Home Team Heroes, presented by Sobeys, Canada's family grocery store.
All right, joined by Scotty Hartnell, Lloydminster's own Scott Hartnell. Born in Regina, grew up in Lloyd. What's up with that?
Yeah, I was born in Regina. I grew up in a small town, Eston, Saskatchewan, until I was about 8 years old. And then our whole family made the move to Lloydminster. Couldn't picture a better place to grow up for myself and my family.
Growing up in Lloyd, what does it mean to you?
Just a great town. It was a small town. You know, I think everyone knew everyone. You know, I was 8 years old. I think when we moved there, my brothers were 5 and 7 years older than I. You know, they were playing junior hockey for the Blazers. They were called back then. Now they're the Bobcats. But, you know, going to Blazer games on the weekdays and weekends, watching my brothers, you know, I thought that was the NHL. And, you know, I was like, oh, I want to play for the Blazers. That was my goal as a young kid in Lloyd. And, you know, playing minor hockey there, was able to play there with the Blazers when I was 15 years old. And, you know, I was like, oh, I made it, you know, and next thing you know, I'm off to Prince Albert, Saskatchewan in the WHL and then drafted in the NHL. When I think about Lloyd, just a lot of smiles to my face.
I was born in Lloyd, but I grew up in Saskatoon, so kind of flip-flopped like what you did. But I grew up in Paradise Hill. Like, talk about like what the surrounding areas also mean to, you know, a smaller city like Lloyd, how that kind of makes up that community as well.
Well, everything's so close too, right? It's a 20, 30-minute drive in a, you know, town of, you know, 700, 800 people that come into Lloyd for their schooling and groceries and things like that. And it's good farm communities that sustain our towns and I guess our way of lives, whether you're in the big city of Lloyd or, you know, out in the surrounding area. It's just, it was a cool part of the world to grow up in. You know, freezing cold in the winter, you played hockey, and as soon as it thawed, you played baseball, you played golf. You know, you threw the ball around with your buddies. Lots of street hockey, you know, even in the winter months. So it's just a cool place to get outside and be active and, you know, get home when the sun goes down, basically.
When's the first time you went to an NHL game? How old were you? What do you remember about the rink? What did it feel like?
Might have been 14, 15 years old in Edmonton at the Northlands Coliseum, I guess it was called back then. And it might have been actually a playoff game versus Colorado, you know, those big rivalries. And seeing it up close, like, wow, this is kind of cool. And, you know, at 14, 15, you're like, oh, that's maybe I could play there one time. And you're seeing these legends play, and it's like, no, and you kind of doubt yourself a little bit. I don't know if I can do that. And, you know, I got home that next day, was working out, shooting pucks in the backyard, just going bananas because you saw it and you saw the atmosphere, the people in there. It was something that gave you a little bit more drive when you could actually see what was going on instead of seeing it on TV.
Here's Smith in with a shot. Hey, score! A beautiful.
Lloydminster Blazers. What do the Blazers mean to Lloyd? Because, you know, you go to play any Lloyd team. When I was growing up, you played the Blazers. Like, they were the hot ticket.
When I was 15, I was obviously a young junior player there. You know, the Blazers was something always special to see them play in the community. And it was one thing that was, like you said, the hot ticket to go on a Friday, Saturday night to watch a back-to-back game against Fort McMurray Oil Barons, where it's going to be just an absolute fight fest and goal fest and all that.
We were playing in Philly. I was in Pittsburgh at the time. And then I ended up having to fight you. But the thing of the story is I smashed my face off the glass, broke my nose. I had to come back. And then you and me get in a fight, and we're going at it. And I gotta say, you're pretty strong. Maybe it's just that I'm weak.
I wasn't throwing bombs to hurt you, but I remember your beak just bleeding. I'm like, oh, hard to miss that thing. Let me go. Let me try and throw a couple. And we were giggling it after the game. That's one thing about hockey players. If you know somebody, you're not trying to, you know, hurt them.
Yeah, two Lloyd guys going at it. All right, Hearts. Besides sports, what are you most proud of?
Wow, that's a good question. It's deep. I just look at the person that I have become, I guess, maybe the dad. I think I'm a good dad for my young children that are here. But, you know, I look at my parents and I try and be, you know, a lot like my dad or my mom, and just how good they are to their communities that they were involved in, and, you know, special needs communities. And you know, I always try and chip in around here when I was a kid, and you know, learned some great lessons from them as a kid that I've, you know, obviously put into myself, and that'll put into my kids. Tough question. That's a good question, though. You surprised me on that one, you goofy guy. I thought this would be lighthearted.
I was trying to make you cry, but you're right, Hearts. You're a good guy. You had a great career, and you're from Lloyd, and, you know, that's like baked into you, and I think that's what makes you awesome, why everyone loves you. So thanks for the time, buddy.
I appreciate it, Army. Thanks, man.